probably just jump right in. Hey, what's up? It's the DeadEndRoad show. It's Bill and Ian. I want to open up things with I had an idea for a new segment because I wanted I when I was listening back to episode 23, I realized I said something really stupid. Well, we say a lot of stupid things, and then I was like, oh, what I said was like really stupid, mm-hmm. And I wanted to easily correct it so people don't think that I'm like that stupid. And then I was like, oh hey, that could be a segment. And then show, it could be a whole show. We could have a second show where we correct the things that the stupid shit we say from the other show. But for now, I figured we could turn it into a segment, and I immediately came up with the idea. So, this is going to be Dead Wrong, and here's the introduction to it.
It's false. No way. Not this time. We created it. Not this time. No, not this time. It's totally made up. Pure fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction. We made it up. We made this one up. It's a made-up tale. It's a total fabrication. It never happened. It never happened. This one was invented by a writer. Not this time. It never happened. It's false. It never happened. It's a fake. It's fiction. It's an urban legend that never happened. No way. We got you. Not a chance. Not this time. It never happened. It never happened. We made this one up. It's fiction. We made up this one. We made it up. Not this time. Wrong. Not this time. Not this time. You're wrong. Not this time. It never happened.
So welcome to Dead Wrong. This is the part of the show where we correct the dumb shit that we said in previous episodes.
What is that from?
That is from an old television show called Fact or Fiction, I believe.
That's at least 15 seconds too long.
Probably. I didn't feel like cutting it down is the fun thing. But I wanted to get the one. My favorite one is the one where he says this one was made up by a writer. That's my favorite one. So I wanted to get that one in. But yeah. So for this first one, so at episode 23, we were talking about the Nicki Minaj, and the we got talking about testicle size. You know how you do. Of course. And so I brought up the creation of Adam and how the he's got the real little peanuts down there. And I said that I made a comment. I was like, "Oh, yeah, that's by Da Vinci, right?" Mm-hmm. And so, it's not by Da Vinci. That's very famously Michelangelo. So I wanted to clear the air. I'm not a complete idiot, but I just wanted to point that out there.
I got an A in my one intro to art history course at university, but I did not pick up on this.
No, see, yeah, okay, but I like how you said university, like you're Canadian or something. I like that. Oh. It makes you seem like European or something. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's what they say. They don't say college; they say university.
I just find that university sounds more like sophisticated.
Yeah.
So I've adopted.
If you notice that we said something really stupid like that, and you would like to correct us, send it in video@deadendroad.co, and it'll be featured in the next edition of Dead Wrong.
I will say, I think this is pretty safe to say, if you send us something, there's like 100% chance it'll end up on the show. Yes. It's just where I have to filter it in, what segment it goes into, is the only qualifier. So let's move into this week's Horror Harvest, if you would like to take it away. Yeah, so this week we watched a film called She Dies Tomorrow, directed by Amy Seimetz. It is about a woman named Amy who wakes up and has the feeling that she is going to die tomorrow. It's not even just a feeling, it's a certainty in her mind. And she then ends up, it's contagious, right? This feeling. So she ends up giving it to her sister, and then her sister visits other people, and then they come down with this, so it's like a mini pandemic of mental illness. So what did you think of this movie?
Okay, that's good that you pointed out that was her sister, because I didn't necessarily know their relation. I thought that they were either friends or that she might have been like her sponsor or something, because her she's a recovering alcoholic was a big part of her character.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't like 100% on their relation.
Now you're making me second guess whether that was actually her sister.
Because either I missed it or like it wasn't stated.
So
like,
did
outright.
we ever leave the Dead Wrong segment, or are we still in that?
We might be. We might just be in it. This is now the name of the show. Yeah, I wasn't completely sure there. I don't know about this one.
Okay.
I wasn't sure how I was supposed to be feeling, or like how I was supposed to take anything in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Is that like a tone thing?
Yeah, the tone. Because it got to a point where it felt like a comedy, but I don't know if that was just because I was finding the movie funny and it wasn't supposed to be.
I think it definitely was in parts supposed to be.
Okay. Like whenever the affliction where people believe that they're going to die the next day, and then like it happens, and then they say like, oh my god, I'm going to die tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Like I started laughing.
Yeah, it's very literal.
Like I don't think that's supposed to be funny.
Right. There's sort of like there's sort of a line, and then sometimes it's like towing the line, and sometimes it's like very obvious it's a joke, but other times you're not really sure.
Yeah, like there are moments that are supposed to be funny, like whenever she's with the dune buggy guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's supposed to be funny.
Yes.
Like I understand that. But like other times where it's like, you know, like I think it wants to be taken really seriously, and it's just it's too much for me, and I just find it ridiculous.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't. Yeah, tonally it was kind of off. And I wasn't quite sure what it was trying to convey either.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's sort of situated as a thriller, but then like even though there's like this sort of looming like it gives itself a deadline of like, oh, these people are gonna die, like are they going to die? But it doesn't sort of give itself like the ticking clock that you might expect.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way I don't feel like there were any stakes, and that's weird whenever there's a group of people that might be dying.
Right. Yeah, it is listed as a thriller in a lot of places, and I made it part of this series because I really came away feeling it was more like psychological horror. And I think this movie's really doing one thing. It's capturing a feeling of like really intense anxiety, almost like a panic attack. But it makes it this very like, it's a very blunt thing, right? That they think is going to happen to them, but it really can be applied to all different types of like anxious things that could bring on like a panic attack, right?
Yeah.
So I like this movie because it set out to capture this feeling It had really a singular purpose, a singular thing it was doing, and it like just went for it. Like the whole movie is about that feeling, right? But I do agree with you that like, especially the second time around, because I think part of this too, like, because I watched this last year when it came out, and I don't know, I think mentally my mental state then was not as good as it is now, which I think led to me appreciating this movie more the first time. Whereas the second time, some of those like tonal weird tonal choices really did stand out. And I wasn't as like immersed in what these characters were experiencing. I was kind of more looking at them from the outside. And like there are scenes in the movie that are like that, where you'll see a close-up of a character's face and the lights are flashing and you're in it with them. But then it cuts to a more like to a shot that's like further away. There's no dramatic music in the background, and you kind of see how ridiculous their behavior is, like from a very objective perspective. So like it's like the movie has that awareness of like what it's conveying and how silly it can be, and it does go back and forth between wanting you to feel it with the characters and then also wanting to like sort of poke fun at them and sort of make light of it, right?
I think the movie struggles whenever the characters are together, because to your point of it being sort of like this portrait of anxiety, and I agree to the extent where like maybe the first 20 minutes is, yes, that is what it's doing.
Which also,
it's Amy.
Yeah. I just want to say, I think the first 20 minutes is the best part of the film.
No, yeah, completely. Because it's Amy alone, and she has, you know, this awful dread, this awful anxiety, and it's sort of this listless, this boredom, this no idea what to do with yourself that is like, you feel like there is that impending panic attack. There's like the moment where she's like either almost willing herself to cry or like on the verge of crying and then doesn't, and it feels like this weird pantomime that is like almost a panic attack too. And you know, like I'm someone with like a lot of anxiety, so it's like I know what this similar feelings are like. So like, yeah, that is to a T what that collection of scenes is doing. But whenever you start introducing the other characters, it strays further away from that, because yeah, it gets more ridiculous, like what their actions are doing, because you wouldn't see that in a group dynamic. And then it's getting away from like anxiety, which is usually this very, very personal internal struggle, to like, I don't know, mass hysteria or something.
Yeah,
I don't know, because and then it's like, okay, well, if it's like it's supposed to be this examination of anxiety, then like the plot itself, I think, takes away from that angle, because all right, so now the anxiety is contagious.
Yeah,
like what is the metaphor?
Right. It felt to me like the purpose of when you're introducing all these other characters, it's almost like you want to explore how this feeling, how it like manifests in them and how they handle themselves, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it also kind of felt like a handful of these characters, like they just didn't know what to do with them.
Yes.
They were really kind of like, you know, no pun intended, but dead ends. There really wasn't much going on with some of these side characters, and it did take away from the central thing that it was trying to convey. I think I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, the couple that was breaking up, There was not really anything there, except for kind of like a couple funny exchanges, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like, in the grand scheme of it, like, what is that serving?
Right.
And then there were the two women, like, towards the end.
Oh, I love that though.
I know, but like, why were they just? Is that Michelle Rodriguez?
It's Michelle Rodriguez, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, but then I was like confused. I was like, but I thought she died. The sister one, or
yeah. So
and
she
just shows up.
Right. She had gone. It's ambiguous what exactly happened to her there. I really don't even know. After seeing this movie twice, because she went back to look at, you know, her microscope and study the things that she studies. Because she had just been rejected by that doctor. Yeah. And now she's going back to sort of like appreciate the thing that she loves most in life, right? For a final time, which I really like. Yeah. I really like that scene. But then there's like a shadow while she's standing over her microscope, and she turns around and she's like surprised. And then the camera cuts and we move on to something else. And the next time you see her, she's walking around with a wounds, like a bleeding wounds, and she encounters these two women, one of which is Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah,
and that whole scene is played for comedy, and I think it worked. I think it worked really well, because like I thought it was such a funny thing, because I really believe that at the end of the world, right, when everybody believes they're about to die, that somebody will still be mowing their lawn.
Sure. Yeah.
You know? And then there's like that the quote where one of the women's like, I'm just really gonna miss trees.
Yeah.
It was so good. And then you have like the visual of her swimming and the pool is filling up with blood. I really like that whole scene.
Yeah, she struggles to get on the floaty.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think what happened was that her brother and his wife, or at least one of them, or both, went to go kill her.
Mm-hmm.
Because they thought that would stop the thing.
Oh, that makes sense, because they had a conversation, and initially in that conversation, it sounded like maybe they had killed their own child in their sleep. Did you get that at all for a second? Because they're like, do you regret what we did last night, or what our plan is, or whatever they said?
Yeah, because before that, like, they were talking about it. They were like, she caused this, and then they were like, you know what we have to do.
Mm-hmm. See, in the moment, I took that to mean like putting their child out of her misery, which is much bleaker than what it actually was.
I think they went to go kill his sister.
Okay, that would make sense then.
But then, so either she died, and that was some scene, or like they just stabbed her or something.
She escaped or something.
She survived and was just bleeding everywhere, walking around.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I assumed, but it was very confusing.
It was confusing.
Especially because like the color palette was so different.
Yeah, it makes you think maybe this is like some sort of like dream sequence or afterlife type deal. Yeah.
Especially because there were like flashbacks and stuff, like.
Right. Which, by the way, this movie gave me the idea of a possible DeadEndRoad merch item, which would it would be sometime in the future. We couldn't do it right now, but it would be an extremely limited edition leather jacket. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, sometime in the future, yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to do it when it's fresh, you see.
You have to do it when it's fresh, yeah. There's a limited window of time that you can... Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that bit. I thought that was great.
Yeah, people have to watch the movie to...
Yeah, no, so what it is, if you haven't seen the movie and you're just listening to us talk about it, it's Amy, the central character. She is like going through like urns that she can purchase online, and then she comes to the idea that she wants to turn herself into a leather jacket after she dies. And she has that one quote where she's like, I just want to be useful in death.
Yeah.
Which was so good.
Yeah.
Just as like a running joke, I thought that was really, really amusing.
Yeah. I can't imagine something creepier.
I know.
Than wearing a human jacket.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so like, I think we're definitely in agreement that the opening 20 minutes or so was the strongest. And I feel like the movie ended on a very similar note with her in like the desert.
Mm-hmm.
Like that final shot is really in sync with where the movie started, you know?
Yeah.
And I thought that was really effective too, where she's like, I'm okay, I'm not okay. I'm okay, I'm not okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Really good stuff there. Yeah, that's Caitlin Shield stars in this.
Mm-hmm.
She has been in so many indie films. She's fantastic. And
yeah, at first I thought it was Grace Gummer.
Oh, okay.
But then when I saw the credits,
Mm-hmm.
I got her name. But
yeah, my favorite Caitlin Shield performance is she is in this movie called Kate Plays Christine, and it's like,
I think you've mentioned that to me before.
Did I mention this one? Yeah, it's this fake documentary. It's a real thing that happened. There was this news reporter who yeah, she shot herself on the air. She committed suicide on the as a news anchor on the air in like the 80s. And so this movie is a fake documentary of Caitlin Shield. She's playing herself as she's preparing to take on the role of Christine.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see her trying to get into the character. There isn't a lot of information about Christine and like her motivations or the struggles that she was dealing with. So she's just trying to like come up with it herself, basically, and trying to like inhabit the character. And she goes a little too far with it. And it's such a fascinating movie because of like the whole meta aspect of it. And like,
right.
Like Kate's performance is very layered and it's very good. Like, so if you ever see that anywhere, it's kind of hard to find, but if you're able to see that, I would definitely recommend Kate Plays Christine. It's kind of weird because it premiered at a festival a few years ago, and at the same festival was the movie Christine starring Rebecca Hall, which is like more of a typical biopic about the same woman, which was okay. Odd that they both premiered at the same time. Very different movies, but it's about the same subject.
Did the family just like suddenly decide they wanted to give up the rights or something?
It's possible. That would be a good explanation for it. I'm not really sure how that ended up happening.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. And then Amy Seimetz, she has also acted in a lot of indie films. She co-created and like show ran the Starz series, The Girlfriend Experience,
okay.
which is fantastic. It's an anthology series, and she basically she co-wrote the first season with somebody, and then the second season was very interesting because they decided to split it in half, and she would write one half with a cast of characters, and her co-writer would do the other half with entirely different cast and story, which ended up working out really well. So yeah, if you liked this movie, if you liked Amy Seimetz's work here, I would definitely recommend The Girlfriend Experience. Great show. I feel is pretty underappreciated. But yeah, I don't know. Did you have anything else to say about this one?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next week's film is going to be Under the Shadow.
Okay.
It's on Netflix in the US. It's directed by Babak Anvari. And it takes place in the Middle East. It's a Persian language psychological horror film.
Okay.
Are you familiar with this one at all?
No, not at all.
Yeah, this is another one that I watched last year. Was really impressed with it. Definitely interested to hear what you think next week.
Okay, cool. It's
also on the shorter end. I feel like I've been choosing movies inadvertently that are like under 90 minutes long.
Hey, I'll take it.
I know, right? I know. And this is another one of those. So, Under the Shadow.
All right. Check that out next week because we're now into October.
Yes, so we are recording on October 1st.
Yeah, so this is like the final stretch, sort of.
I'm going to keep it to like actual horror because I know the last 2 weeks it's been kind of like horror adjacent, but I figure for October we should kind of ramp it up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, I did forget to mention one thing about She Dies Tomorrow.
Sure.
Maybe I shouldn't because, well, it keeps the streak alive of us getting involved with or doing.
Yeah.
There was abortion content.
There was.
There was more abortion content in the movie.
I actually forgot that happened. I was going to bring it up. I was going to make a note of it.
Yeah. And then there was the whole thing about the line about the menstrual cycles.
Yes.
and the bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
So
at least it's
the streak's alive.
You know what? At least it's a woman doing it here, because like in the last couple movies we watched, when abortion was brought up, it was not brought up very effectively.
No, it was a character just talking about her experience with abortion.
Yes,
just in a scene. That was it.
Yes, it wasn't used as like
that was the context.
A plot device. It wasn't used as like, you know, some sort of shock. It wasn't like exploited in any way. It was just a fairly simple thing.
It was just part of her character.
Part of her character, yes.
Yeah, that was it. But the streak's alive. So
here we go. I'm trying. I'm now trying to recall Under the Shadow, and I don't. It's possible.
Hey, we'll find out. Tune in.
All right.
Okay. So you put in a Dating is Dead segment.
I did. And
I'm fascinated.
Yeah. I've been excited about this. This is a Dating is Dead TikTok edition.
Okay.
Because I you know, every now and then I get like a video on my For You page. It's like some sort of like, you know, cringy like dating story or some like really outrageous thing. And I thought I could make a Dating is Dead segment out of this.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm going to send you a few TikToks to play here. The first one is a piece of dating advice. This is from Jack M. Sherman on TikTok.
Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well. I recently joined Tinder and I'm doing really well on it, so I thought I'd give you all some dating advice. My first match was with a girl named Tawny here. Rule number 1, always incorporate their name into the first message you send. So I sent her, I said, Tawny oil increases your endurance in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which is true, actually. I had to look it up to make sure, but Geralt does get an endurance boost when he's using Tawny oil in The Witcher 3. I sent that on August 24th now. So we're coming up on a month and she hasn't responded, but you know, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm feeling well. This is one of those sort of slow burn type things. So I'll keep you guys posted on when she responds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a slow burn.
I mean, I think that's a good approach. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It makes it,
especially if they're named after.
It makes it seem more personal, object. You know?
It does. Yeah. It's a good in. Because a lot of people just go for like the hey or the what's up, you know?
Yeah, this is more memorable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, this would get me to reply. I mean, I don't know what her problem is.
I don't know what her problem is. Well, it's a slow burn.
Yeah.
Maybe she got really into The Witcher 3 and just forgot about it.
That's true. It is a big game.
It is.
So she might need another. She might need another couple months.
Yeah. And then
There are a bunch of expansions.
Yeah. Yeah. Just maybe stay away from Cyberpunk.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. You need a beefy rig. That's
right.
Yeah.
So okay, so next one is it's from Hey, let me see if I can pronounce this handle correctly. It's Cisadora on TikTok. It's a bit of a story to this one here.
I actually cannot fucking believe that this has just happened to me. My boyfriend always makes jokes that I have a cartoon life, and today this has continued. I just got a friend request from some guy in Canada, and I had 3 mutual friends with him, all of which are my cousins, who I've never met, but I've just been friends on Facebook with them for ages. So I thought, oh, this guy's probably also my cousin, because that's how I've met the other ones. So I accepted him, and he messaged me and was like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, yeah, I'm good, thanks, how are you? And then he proceeded to chat me up and was like, I saw your profile, thought you were one of the most beautiful girls I've ever seen. So hard to meet people with COVID. And I went, sorry, mate, I think you might be my cousin. What are you doing? I was like, I'm so confused. You're literally in Canada. I went, I think you're my cousin. He then proceeds to go, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it's a bad thing, because right now you're trying to get in my pants. And then he said, probably a compliment, because you're gorgeous. Sorry, sir, I think we're related. Please pack this behaviour right in. And I said, I thought you were my family. We're literally on opposite sides of the world. What are you doing? And then he said, oh, are you from Australia? I was like, no, I'm English. And then he said, are you related to so-and-so? I'm going to cover that name up. That's my mum. And then he's blocked me. So almost definitely is my cousin. But apparently it took a few goes of that sinking in.
I love how he asks if being cousins is a good or a bad thing. Like if that's something she might be into.
Right, he's trying to test the water.
Cousin fucking.
Yeah, he's totally trying to read how she feels about it.
Oh, so are you into the whole cousin thing? Because we can, I can make that work. And if we're not cousins, I can pretend to be your cousin.
Yeah. I mean, 3 different attempts, and she couldn't have been more clear the first time.
That's some desperation, man.
Yeah.
To even try to hook up with somebody on Facebook. Also, you're in another country. What are you expecting is gonna happen?
Yeah. Yeah, so that's where the initial confusion came, right? Because her cousins are in a different country than her. And so he's like, how could you be related to me? You live in a different country.
Yeah. So I bet, so say they aren't related, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and so say you go to, try to chat somebody up on fucking Facebook. What is the end goal? At best, what, you're gonna sext? What is the,
I mean, he had to attempt it because she's the most beautiful woman that he's ever seen.
Maybe that's true,
and maybe she also resembles his mom. So,
Yeah. I guess finally sinking in, oh shit, this actually is my cousin, and she just doesn't have a cousin fucker fetish.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's an and not an or, because if she had the fetish, she'd be down.
Right, exactly, yeah. Oh no, she's my cousin, and she's not into this.
Yes. Okay, so I have one more. I really feel like I saved the best for last.
Oh God!
This is a lengthy story, but I think it's worth it. This is from at Sarah Childry, and also the caption before we started is it's should I go on a second date? Let me know.
Guys, not to gatekeep the dating men experience, but it just feels like I have you all beat with the best dating story of all time. So buckle up. So I'm a cute San Francisco bitch, and I go to the farmer's market every week. And one week, I was buying my loaf of bread, and the little bread baker man asked me on a date, and I was like, this is sick. I'm stoked. We have a little beach picnic. I'm super cute. I bring a little picnic basket full of tea and farmer's market fruit and, like, some cookies, and I rolled some little, We're having a blast, like a great date. And he goes, do you eat food? What? So I was like, yeah, I eat food. You just watched me eat, like, 8 figs. And he was like, well, I live really close. Let me make you dinner. I was like, yeah, okay, I feel like I trust you. I'll go to your house. Turns out he lives in the nicest house I've ever been in. And I grew up in suburbia, like, I've seen a nice house. This is a nice house in San Francisco. Man's is loaded. So this is when I, like, kind of start to panic. We sort of start fooling around, and then I was like, can we take a little break? I want to drink some tea. I'm getting in my head. Totally normal. Then as we're sitting on his little couch drinking our little tea, he says, now is a great time for me to tell you about a strange sexual habit I have. Uh-oh. This guy doesn't let himself come. Ever. It's not like, I take Lexapro. It can be hard sometimes. No. He doesn't let himself. I was like, okay, you smoke a lot of, I'd think that maybe you would like that, but that's okay. And then he goes, I don't want you to feel like I led you astray, but I don't really eat. What? So I was like, I did ballet for many years of my life. Like, do you want to talk? No. He says, no, it's not that. It's when I'm hungry, I feel like I have more space for compassion. What? I don't know about y'all, but I turn into a hangry bitch. Like, there's no way, okay? But I was like, I came over here for dinner. I'm getting hungry. Like, do you have anything I can eat? He gets a jar of almond butter, hands it to me and says, it's just like ice cream. No, it's fucking not. But at this point, I'm, like, trying to, like, get some of the tension to go away. So I make a joke about how he doesn't come. At this point, he's cutting a peach. He turns knife in hand and says, that was objectively offensive. So at this point, I'm like, I'm absolutely fucked. Like, I'm scared, right? And we, like, try to have a civil conversation about how I hurt his feelings, and he just, like, doesn't make me feel like I can let go of it. And I am so anxious at this point. I start crying in this man's kitchen. So not only does this man not come, he doesn't eat. He's a bread baker who doesn't eat his own bread, and he only calls Schweed cannabis. Like, made fun of me for calling it weed. He also has a stack of vinyl, and when I walked in, I was like, hey, can I put something on? Because, like, that's a hot girl move. Like, that's what I do at my house. No. He says, no. Why do you have it if you don't want to play it, Anyways, I was like, I want to go. I asked him to walk in my car. He says no. I was like, okay, this was the weirdest date of my life. I got home, I cried. Literally, like, told my friends that I ruined this date. Like, I was like, he was so cool, and I ruined it. He also texted me a week later and told me he doesn't want me in his life because I won't let him be an authentic version of himself, so. Abolish men.
I think they should go on a second date.
Oh, okay. You're answering the...
I think they should go on a second date. Because she's fucking obnoxious.
Oh, come on. That is not the takeaway here. That is not the takeaway here.
She's upset that he calls it cannabis when she calls it Schweed.
That is also not the takeaway here.
Okay, yes, the takeaway is that he is a weird breatharian that doesn't ejaculate. Yeah.
Or eat.
He's some kind of weird breatharian. I understand.
Wait, what is a breatharian?
Breatharians are people that believe that they can replace food with air.
Okay. Is that just like the words breath and air in combined?
Yeah, but like it's like an Aryan, so like not like an Aryan. You know what I mean? Like just the suffix.
Okay,
like like they exist with the air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I cannot believe you just watched that entire video and the first thing you say is that she's annoying.
He just wants to be Sting. He's into that what's that shit? Fuck. It's like the super hardcore edging. Like God, shit.
There's a term for it? I didn't know there was a term for it.
The tantric sex, the whole yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's like where you withhold your orgasm. This is gonna get. I gotta put like 8 million explicit tags on this episode. Yeah. I think they should go on the second date. I think they could work it out.
Really?
I think that she could introduce him to some food.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he could introduce her to, I don't know, not talking so much. You know, like I think.
What do you mean?
I think that they,
She's
I think they
telling
can
a
make it work out.
story. What are you
I think that
talking
they-
about? Not
I don't
talking
know.
to.
I don't know. She's very annoying. She's one of the TikTok people that's got the theater kid energy. It's like, and she called it Schweed. Like, yeah.
I honestly can't defend the Schweed part.
Yeah, come on.
No, but this dude is like
Yeah.
a freaking, what is he, like vampire or something? Like I don't.
Yeah, like, dude ain't normal. Yeah. It is some bizarre shit that you're a vampire, or you're a baker that doesn't eat bread. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm assuming he was cutting the peach for her with the knife. Unless
I
that's a
guess,
bit
yeah.
of a little bit of a plot hole in this whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you don't come, you have to have a sense of humor about it.
Oh, totally.
You know.
Totally.
Do you do you think that it is like actually like maybe a medical thing and he's like playing it off like it's like he's doing it on purpose?
I thought maybe, but then when you go on to the whole not eating thing, it sounds more like a lifestyle choice.
Yeah.
Like he's built this whole like structure of his life. Just like devoiding, like just like, you know, any sort of stimulation of any
Earthly
kind.
pleasures.
Yes.
Pleasures. Yeah, he thinks he's like a monk or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How many people has he killed?
Ooh. That's a good question. Do you think that he's
Because
like
I think
he's going
you
like
saying that she should go on a second date is pretty reckless, to be honest, because this dude sounds dangerous.
I don't know. He might just be just some weird San Francisco dude.
I'm kind of interested what's in the vinyl collection that nobody's allowed to touch or play.
I know. I was curious. I thought she was going to drop some names.
Yeah. What's Huey Lewis in the news?
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, and then he put this plastic sheet all over the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they could work it out.
Okay, well that's some optimism there.
I'd like to see a second TikTok, you know?
As
annoying as she was, I'd like to see a second TikTok.
There could very well be one. I didn't check.
Maybe I'll go to her profile.
Yeah, let's see if there's anything there.
Thank you so much for your concern on this matter. There's actually 2 bread vendors at the farmer's market, so I still can get a sourdough.
Okay, somebody asked, but now where will you get bread? Okay, so that's the follow up. She's now going to another bread vendor. So, okay, well, damn.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
You know, you have to avoid certain places.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and the fact that she had managed to convince herself that she was the crazy one at the end of all of it, even if only briefly.
Yeah. See, she seemed less annoying in that one.
Is it okay? I don't think I'm going to even like try and delve into this any further. But you're saying she talks too much on a TikTok video where she's telling a story.
I didn't say she could. That story could have been a minute shorter.
And this podcast could be.
Well, yes, of course. I know from experience.
Anyway, that was Dating is Dead TikTok edition. Maybe the last of its kind. Maybe not. We'll have to see.
No, I think that was good. Yeah, so we talked about me doing the whole opening it up to all the genders, right?
Yes.
So I reactivated my Tinder to do that, right? And so I shouldn't have done that on Tinder. I should have done that on OkCupid, which I'll have to do next, because the way Tinder works is that like whenever it shows you somebody, or whenever it shows somebody to you, it shows you to that person.
Mm-hmm.
So now like a ton of dudes are liking me.
Okay.
And I sort of feel bad because it's like I'm not going to, you know,
Yeah, so like if you're gonna
reciprocate.
be on there to do this like segment, right? You want to not be like seen by anybody because you don't want any action.
Yeah.
You don't want any actual interaction.
Right. So yeah, I need to be like I'm an observer, you know. So like, and I feel bad if people are like interested in something that like
that you're not
isn't gonna and it's fucking Tinder. It's not like people are like, oh, they're in love with me or some shit.
Sure.
You know, I'm not taking that seriously. But it's like I'm a straight guy, like, and I'm putting that I'm interested in dudes just to look at them like that. Now I'm feeling weird about that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I mean, it's not like you're having like, you're not like catfishing anybody, you know, you're not having full blown conversations and then like pretending you're somebody, like, you know, it's not nothing like that at least.
Right. But then at the same time, I saw somebody from high school.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So it's like, okay, this might have been a miscalculation. And then also just so many shirtless dudes.
Yeah.
So many.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting bombarded, and it's like, man, is this working? Like, what is, like, who?
I know you'll have to test the waters on that yourself, I guess.
Yeah, that'll go great. Yeah, so I gotta recalibrate the strategy, which is why there hasn't been the usual dating is dead in a few episodes.
Okay.
So it was good to fill the air with something a little different.
Sure.
Now, let's move into something I'm very excited about, because yesterday felt like Christmas. It really did. Because
if by that you mean Christmas like 10 years ago, then I agree with you.
Yeah. Because Tim and Tom are back.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be so specific. Nobody is going to give a shit except us. But on HBO, there is a new show called 10-Year-Old Tom. And it is by the creator and head writer of a program called The Life and Times of Tim, which aired on HBO starting in like 2008 and ended in, I think, 2012. And nobody saw the show, which is why it was canceled in 2012. And it was the best thing ever. And this new show is basically the old show again, except the main character, instead of being an adult man, is now a 10-year-old kid.
But still also kind of an adult man.
Still also, he's an adult man in the body of a kid.
Yeah.
And it's just the same show. It's got the same art style, the same humor, the same character, and it's fantastic. And I love it that it's back.
How much, because the full season was released at once. How many did you watch last night?
I watched the first 2, which I guess is actually just the first episode. They were split.
Yes, they are split. That's one episode, yeah.
Yeah, so I watched the first episode then, I guess. So, yeah. I thought it was great. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, this was sorely missing. And like it felt like it came out of nowhere, but then I went on to Steve Dildarian's Twitter, who is the creator and head writer. I think he also directs, but and then I noticed that like exactly a year ago, he tweeted out that HBO had picked up the show.
Oh wow!
And I had liked that tweet. Oh. So I had just forgotten that this was happening.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I like mementoed myself.
Yeah. I went to see if HBO Max added The Life and Times of Tim, the previous show.
Yeah.
Because that would make all the sense in the world, right? To do that on the day the new one comes out. Nope. It's not there.
He said he also tweeted on the 29th. He said, after a brief 8-year timeout, I'm happy to say that all 3 seasons of The Life and Times of Tim are now streaming on HBO Max.
Well, then I missed it.
Yeah, he said it's back, which is why I'm saying they're both back.
That's weird. I must have missed it then. So I was looking for it last night, but so that's great to hear. I will be revisiting that for sure.
Oh yeah, what I'm gonna do is, because I ripped the DVDs like a crazy person, but the quality isn't very good, so I'm gonna see if I can get the HBO versions.
Sure, yeah.
Because the show was broadcast in HD, but the DVDs were not.
Of course, yeah.
DVD quality. So, because I'm a crazy person. But if anybody's not familiar, this is an adult cartoon sitcom. It's basically Curb Your Enthusiasm, but a cartoon. And it's hilarious. It's the best shit. The
main character, Tim/Tom, depending on what show you're watching, is very like passive, as a person.
It's the most deadpan. He just lets stuff happen to him.
Yeah. Just the most outrageous stuff just happens to him, and he accepts it and just goes along with it, and it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, like in the first episode of Tom, he ends up taking steroids, or believing that he takes steroids.
Yeah,
like it's just it gets out of control so quickly.
Which, by the way, that's why I said Christmas 10 years ago, because I really do feel like the show has not evolved at all, which is fine.
No,
which is perfectly fine, not a complaint. But like talking about baseball steroids is hilarious, because the show feels like it came out in 2008.
Yeah, but that's what I want. That's exactly what I want.
Totally. Yeah.
But it's also like crazy, like the guest actors that they can get.
Yeah. John Malkovich. Like they had David Duchovny.
Yeah, David Duchovny is in this.
Gillian Jacobs.
And that was the same case for Tim too. They got like a bunch of great comedians to do voices.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like Todd Glass, I think, is the principal in the new show.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's so good. I can't wait.
So
to watch the rest.
It's been so long since I've seen Tim. Were there like running bits or jokes between episodes ever in that show, or was it just mostly contained?
I believe there were like bits, yes. Not like necessarily always like through lines.
Okay, because I really appreciate like the little thing, like in the very beginning of this first episode, he's playing the bassoon in the band. But he's forced out of that.
Yeah.
And then he decides to pursue baseball. But then later on in the ice cream half of the episode, he's trying to get money for ice cream.
Yeah.
He's having a garage sale and he's selling the bassoon, which I thought was really good.
Yeah, there was stuff like that in Tim.
Mm-hmm.
But like the plots wouldn't necessarily carry over
between
episodes. But like there was still like I think I remember stuff being like referenced from previous episodes, because like you remember Debbie, right?
Yes.
So the Tim's relationship with Debbie would sort of continue like through episodes, but like there wasn't like a like narrative, like a specific narrative.
Yeah, because I feel like we have to get David Duchovny as the ice cream man at some point again, even though he's no longer.
He's no longer the ice cream man because he no longer has a truck. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I mean, there was no option.
No.
there were no other options.
Well, there were a couple. They brainstormed a couple. Yeah, it's so good.
Oh, God. Yeah. So go watch that. It's on HBO Max. And go watch Tim.
Yes, definitely.
Tim and Tom. I just love that. I just love that they didn't even barely change the name.
Mm-hmm. And I said to you that I made the obvious joke that he's stealing Ben Platt's thunder here, because he really does look like a 30-year-old guy playing a 10-year-old.
Yes, and it's because it's the same voice. It's just,
and he's got the curly hair going too.
Yeah, and the way he talks is just. It was so funny. Whatever the bus driver says, he says "pussy" on the bus. Tom, I keep getting it. Tom says Don't say that. Like, there's children here.
Yeah.
It's like, oh God.
Yeah, it's like I was a little bit concerned watching the trailer. I mean, I was excited by the fact that the show existed, but actually watching the trailer, it wasn't that great of a trailer because...
Really?
Yeah, because you know what it is? It's a lot of jokes without any context, and it's a lot of like the, I guess you call it like potty humor parts of it.
Sure.
It feels very juvenile, which like, you know, obviously this isn't like highbrow comedy, but like it's a lot more clever than the trailer would lead you to think if you weren't already familiar with the style of his writing and all that.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's very deadpan, it's very sarcastic. Yeah, it's just surrounded by all these ridiculous people, and him just sort of like we said, just rolling with it and sort of like making like very deadpan comments about it.
Yeah.
Like a dude shows up and he's like, "Oh no, this can't be the guy. This is not the guy." Like just like stuff like that. Like yeah, Glenn, yeah. On the thing that said soft pretzels parentheses drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. We should move on because otherwise I'm just like gonna quote the rest of the like all the jokes.
Oh, it's so easy to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you are very very much aware, but the listeners probably wouldn't be. I'm a huge Big Brother fan.
I think you've brought it up on.
I have brought it up. We talked about
there was Frenchie.
Yeah, we talked about Frenchie earlier this in the summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, Big Brother, one of my favorite things in the world. The latest season, Big Brother 23, just ended the other day, and it was a very significant season because the show crowned its first Black winner. In over, you know, it's been on the air for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Because Big Brother has had a long running issue of being very white. Its casting has been a problem, as is the case with a lot of reality TV.
Sure.
But yeah, it's been a glaring issue for a long time now. And with a show like Big Brother, where just the style of the game and how it's played, you know, if you are a person of color coming into a mostly white house, you are at a disadvantage. You know, for the most part, the big alliances of players are made up of white people. You know, you could attribute that to, you know, biases that people have. You know, that's really what it is. It's just it's biases that people come into the house with, and they might not even be aware that they are excluding somebody, but but to the people watching the show on the outside, it's as clear as day. So this year, for the first time, casting, they promised 50% of the cast would be people of color, and they delivered on that. It was a much more diverse cast, more representative of what America is, at least relative to what it's been, what the show has been for so many years. So anyway, at the very start of the season, the 6 Black house guests basically immediately looked at each other and were like, they had an understanding. They were like, we are not coming after each other. We're going to look out for each other, you know, for as long as we can, because they are fans of the show and they've seen how it's gone for Black house guests, for minority house guests. And so pretty much immediately they had that understanding. They ended up naming their alliance. They call it the Cookout. And so it's a 6-person, all Black alliance. that was created at the start of the game and ended up making it all the way to the end, completely untouched. Which is the first time that's ever happened in Big Brother. A major alliance that starts at the beginning and makes it fully intact all the way through is like unprecedented. So there's a case to be made from a game standpoint that they're the most impressive alliance in the history of the show. But of course they are doing it for reasons that go beyond just the game, right? So like part of the reason they were so successful is because Big Brother is typically it's a game where if you are self-interested, you excel. If you're looking out for yourself and you're willing to like lie and manipulate to get what you want. But for the people in this alliance, their primary motivation was getting a black person to the end of the game, no matter who it was.
Yeah, isn't what usually happens is like these alliances, they either dwindle or they crumble to like two people that say like, okay, it's really going to be us two.
Yeah, that's happened before. Sometimes an alliance is too large that it implodes because at the first moment where they're not in power or there's some adversity, some of the members will throw each other under the bus and things will collapse. But here they stay loyal because they weren't self-interested. They were playing for the group. So that was really cool to see. The members of the cookout, it's Tiffany, Hannah, Xavier, Derek, and Azza are the members. So it's 3 men and 3 women, right? And I bring that up because there is sort of a dark spot to this whole story this season. It wasn't all great. But so basically what they did was they had that understanding they were just going to have each other's back. They didn't have an agreement that's like, oh, it's just going to be us to the end, right? But then Tiffany, who has really was proven to be like sort of the mastermind behind the whole thing, and she's a fan favorite. She won the America's Favorite Player vote at the end of the season. She came up with this plan about 3 weeks into the season because she was noticing that all the members of the alliance had somebody outside the alliance they were very close to. And so she's like, okay, we can get to the final 6 with just us if every week the nominations are one of us and our close ally outside of the alliance, and then we just evict the ally. You see what I mean? Like, so they would be simultaneously hiding the fact that they're all working together, and they would be getting the non-alliance players out at the same time. Yeah. And they pulled that off flawlessly. Like week after week, they did that. One member of the alliance would go up sitting next to their close ally outside of it, and every single time they would send that person home. And right up through the final non-alliance member leaving, nobody knew that this alliance existed. It was really impressive. Like there wasn't even like there was suspicion here or there of like, it's really funny because when they were down to 8 people left, so like 6 members of the alliance and 2 outsiders, they were like, one of the outsiders was like, wow, it's majority of the people in the house are people of color. That's never happened on the show before. So like they made that observation, but they never took the next step into putting together that it was this big alliance working together, which was really impressive on their parts. And like the disappointing thing for me and for a lot of the fans watching the show was because I mentioned Tiffany and how she was like the mastermind behind this, and she was making a lot of the maneuvering and setting things in place, and she came up with the big plan. And she was the first member of the cookout to be evicted once they reached their goal. And that wasn't great. And the reason it wasn't great, especially, is because it would have been one thing if the other people were like, well, yeah, she's the biggest threat now because she is the mastermind. She's so smart that we have to get her out in order to win the game, right? They did not say that. Instead, it was mainly the three men in the Alliance basically dismissed her accomplishments and tried to say that she was the person least deserving to be there out of all the Cookout members.
Oh.
And so they were basically like trying to erase things that she had contributed and accomplished, which was a really bad look. So it's like, on the one hand, we have this really like historic moment in the show where you're going to have a black winner, and this alliance was made such an impact on the show. But now you have what can really only be described as misogyny. Because at one point or another, all three of the male Cookout members, and one in particular, Derek, just throwing out a lot of misogyny. Whether it's like dismissing the accomplishments of the women or acting like the women aren't as worthy of, being in the house as the men, or, stuff like that. And it happens so often that it's like really put a damper on the final few weeks of the show. And, misogyny has been a long running problem on Big Brother as well.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like we've succeeded in bringing awareness to one glaring issue, and that's great. But it's also like there's this whole other thing that still needs to be addressed in a big way.
Well, a lot of times that was like baked into the show.
Well, what do you mean?
They would do stuff that were like they would separate the men and the women. They would do competitions that way.
Oh, that's like old school Big Brother. They don't do that anymore.
Sure, but I'm just saying, like, it was baked into like some of the foundation of the show.
Yeah, that is a good point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough. Because like on the finale, they brought back some of the early evicted house guests via Zoom, like so the pre-jury members. And one of the women, Whitney, she was when she was in the house, she was taking the brunt of some of Derek's misogyny. Like he would call out like some of the shit that she was wearing and stuff like that. And the show would go back to that like multiple times and like show clips of it. So like when you say it's built in, like that, the show is definitely part of the problem here.
Yeah.
And so Whitney said on Twitter the day of the finale, she's like, I'm going to have a chance to speak tonight. And no, she actually said, if I have a chance to speak tonight, because it wasn't guaranteed that there would be time.
Right.
If I have a chance to speak tonight, I'm going to mention some of the misogyny that's gone down on the show. And what do you know? She did not have a chance to speak during the episode.
Of course.
So that was disappointing, but these guys are going to hear it from the fans online. Because Big Brother fans on the internet, they have a reputation of being quite
I mean, does it matter? Like, they got paid, like they made it to the end.
Right. Yeah. Which is why it was so disappointing to see Tiffany and then also her close ally Hannah. They were two people that did really, I would argue, did the most for the Alliance throughout the whole game, and they were the first two to go. And the reasoning they were the first two to go in the eyes of the men was that they contributed the least and that they, were almost like dead weight. So it was not a good look.
Yeah.
But I think that this season will be remembered for the impact it made when it comes to representation.
Sure.
Which at the end of the day, that is a net positive there. That's a good thing. I do hope that in future seasons there's less sexism, less misogyny, because it's a real problem in in society in general, but in this show too. Like,
well, with Julie Chen Moonves at the helm,
no, she's too busy praising God.
Yeah, they like I said to you a week or two ago, they need more children of God on the program.
Yeah.
and that'll.
Yeah, we were talking about this. This wasn't on the air. We were talking about this after the show, but Julie Chen Moonves has had some sort of awakening because pretty much every week, if somebody mentions God, or sometimes she takes it upon herself to do it herself, unwarranted, she'll just like make a statement about God in the middle of the show.
Yeah, it's got to be some kind of born again sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's just very strange.
Yeah, Julie's interesting. She's been doing this from the very beginning. She's been hosting the show for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And so like in the finale the other day, one of the house guests, the jury members, Brittany, she's having a heartfelt moment. 'Cause she's autistic, and she did not tell any of the house guests that she's autistic. I guess that was her choice to not tell anybody. Mm-hmm. And so everybody was like revealing like their secret occupation or anything that they withheld from people during the game. And so she had like a heartfelt moment about, speaking about autism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Julie, before this, she's like, okay, Brittany, you can stand up and share what you want to say. And Brittany has this moment. She finishes talking, and then Julie's like, yeah, oh, I'm sorry, Brittany. I shouldn't have told you to stand up. The lighting wasn't as good as if you were sitting down.
What the fuck?
Exactly. What the fuck?
What the fuck is that?
What the fuck is that? I do not know. It was unbelievable.
What the fuck is that?
Like, this is a live finale. Like, so... But how long has she been doing? Like, how would you, even if you, and by the way, as a viewer watching the show, there was no noticeable difference in the lighting. Like, it was not like she was like,
even if there was,
as the host, you don't point that out. You're not a producer behind the scenes giving notes. You're hosting
Julie,
the
this
show.
Is live.
I honestly could not believe that. I mean, I kind of could, because I know some of the stuff that Julie says sometimes, but it was ridiculous.
What the fuck?
It was ridiculous.
Anyway, that's real nice. You look like shit in this lighting.
Yeah, I don't know. She just says what's on the top of her head sometimes, and it doesn't.
That wasn't important enough. You should have been sitting down for that. Like what? Like what is?
I know.
Oh my god.
It was ridiculous. But yeah, anyway, the takeaway for this season, Big Brother, is that representation has gotten better on the show. I hope it continues to improve even more. And the show has its first black winner. Xavier was the winner of the game, and of the three men in that alliance, he was the most worthy of it. So
nice.
I was happy to see it.
So will this TikTok thing make for good audio?
Well, I only have the audio for one of them. But yeah, I wanted to mention there's a couple different memes that are very, very popular. You've probably heard them both at this point. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about either one of them, honestly. Okay, so like,
because it says it's food based.
Yeah,
so
well, they're both. Yeah, they are both. They are both food based.
I was curious if you can't see it, if it makes for.
Oh yeah. I think it makes sense. The first one is Good Soup. You've heard Good Soup, right? The Adam Driver meme.
Oh yeah. I've seen it. I've seen the GIF.
Yeah. It's from the final season of Girls, which, like, how the hell that surfaced after how many years it's been, I don't even know. But
probably Adam Driver stands,
Sure, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, it's Adam Driver sitting at like a diner, and he takes like a spoonful of the soup. Yeah, and then he says, "Good soup." Yeah. But I've been kind of like trying to avoid this meme personally. Sure. Because I believe I have what is called misophonia, which is the sort of disorder where you have reactions to like certain sounds, like chewing sounds or like mouth sounds.
Oh God, how do you do a podcast with me?
What do you mean? No, it's not. Well, we're just talking. Like that's very different.
Yeah, but I make mouth sounds. I have to like edit them out.
Oh, I mean, I guess maybe my headphones aren't good enough to be picking up on that. But yeah, no, I haven't had a problem on this show.
Okay. Well, that's good.
But yeah, whenever I hear good soup, I cringe a little bit because I do struggle with that a bit. Yeah, I didn't realize, like, I was looking up this disorder because I forgot the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that it's rare and that there are about 200,000 people in the US that have it.
Mm-hmm.
That seems very low to me.
Well, maybe that's people that are diagnosed.
I mean, it says you can basically self-diagnose. But yeah, that's probably where they're getting their data from.
But yeah, like who's to
like say,
reporting this? Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like a lot of people have this.
Yeah.
And good soup is bad for misophonia.
I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I've only seen it in GIF form.
I mean, some of the variations, like, it's basically turned into like any sort of liquid is now soup.
Okay.
When it comes to this meme, like, if there's anything involving liquid, somebody will turn it into like a good soup meme.
I see.
Yeah. But yeah, the other one was the little lad, berries and cream.
Oh no, I can't with that.
It's yeah. See, now I people have referred to this as like they think this is super catchy and it's like an earworm and they can't get enough of it. And I guess that's why it's taken off. But I just do not. I don't.
No, see, I'm too old because I was around the first time, and I guess these kids weren't.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, because this was like 2007 or 2008 when the original commercial came out.
Yeah.
So I guess they didn't experience that the first time around. Yeah.
Yeah.
And did you see who's has a resurgence in popularity to go alongside of it? Is the actor who played the little lad in that Starburst commercial.
Yeah, and he's not happy about it.
Wait, he's not happy about it?
No.
So wait, who's this guy on TikTok? Can I send you this one here? Because this guy is under the username The Real Little Lad, and this video here of him teaching you how to do the dance has 20 million views, and it leads me to think that he's the guy, is he not?
Well, then he must have had a change of heart because as of a couple of weeks ago, he did not like people bringing this up because he was trying to be a real actor.
Okay.
And 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Berries and cream, berries and cream. I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream. Up the octave, go for it. Berries and cream, berries and cream. I'm a little lad who loves berries and cream.
That is him, right?
Let me see. He's got a Cameo link here.
Yeah, I heard he was on Cameo. It's like $100-something to get one of his Cameo appearances.
Yeah.
So he seems to be embracing it now. Which, like, with that kind of following, why wouldn't you?
Interesting.
If you haven't seen if you haven't seen that video,
ago, he did not.
Oh, so he's taken a very recent change of heart here.
Yeah.
Because that's a full-on like dance tutorial that we just played there.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, so this one doesn't trigger anything in me, but I also just find it annoying personally.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I found it annoying over 10 years ago.
Yeah, so, it's just a case of like the Super Bowl ad that's trying to capture your very fleeting attention for a few seconds. And it's not meant to be something that continues on in the consciousness for 2 decades or whatever.
So the reason why it got popular again was because Justin McElroy of the My Brother and Me podcast posted it on TikTok. And all the kids who didn't know what it was found it.
Okay.
And went crazy with it.
So I wonder if he's happy about that decision.
Justin McElroy?
Yeah.
No, he's very happy about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because whenever he talked about it, he said that it was being used in like, I don't know, like 80,000 videos or something, because he could track it.
Yeah.
Because he was the one that uploaded the sound or whatever.
Oh, so it's his sound that's being circulated.
Because he's the one that put up the commercial audio.
Okay.
That's just like his version, I guess, and so it probably spread from there.
Yeah, I just meant like maybe he's not happy that he started this entire trend again, but the fact that he's benefiting from it is good for him.
Yeah.
See, that's really all I had with those two. I just I'm kind of hoping that they've had their moment and they sort of fade away.
Sure. I mean, that's what memes do, so hopefully their time will be soon.
My favorite good soup, though, is somebody stepped out of a porta potty with a like a handful of like blue Gatorade.
Oh, that's not Gatorade.
Right. No, it really was Gatorade, but it was meant to be like the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good soup. So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oof.
Moving on.
Let's see. We don't have to talk about Shaq, so we could cut that one. That's just a little thing.
Okay.
Well, maybe we could just do a quick
I was
one.
kind of interested. I mean, I didn't read the article.
It's not much. It's just Shaq says that he doesn't want to be a celebrity anymore.
Okay.
So there's just some good quotes. These celebrities are going freaking crazy, and I don't want to be one. I denounced my celebrityness today. I'm done with it. And that's what he told the New York Post.
I feel like he's been reading too much Sally Rooney.
Maybe.
Because she doesn't want to be a celebrity either.
Celebrities are crazy. They really are. Don't call me that anymore. These people are out of their freaking mind with how they treat people, what they do, what they say. That's never been me. I never want to be looked at like that. I came from nothing, but just because I made it doesn't mean I'm bigger than you. I take issue with that.
Yeah.
Because you're Shaquille O'Neal. I think you're bigger than literally everyone. But yeah, I just think this is really hilarious because it's like, your name is Shaq. Like, you have video games. You're on TV. It's like, he's not retiring from being on TV.
Mm-hmm.
He says he's retiring from just being a celebrity.
Like, that's your decision.
No, it's not.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's your decision to make.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought you're saying that's his decision.
Yeah. No, it's totally not. Because a celebrity
Yeah.
is not. You don't just decide to wake up and be one. You become one, and you remain one until unless you fall out of the awareness.
Yeah. No. So here's the thing. Like, if he wants to retire from like doing shit.
Yeah, like public
not
life.
being on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he can fade.
Yeah.
But he's not doing that. Cause like who was the Ghostbusters actor and the Honey I Shrunk the Kids guy? The one with the glasses.
I don't know.
I forget his name, but anyway, he basically retired from acting, and then he wasn't famous anymore.
Right, because we don't know his name.
Well, exactly, but that's because I don't know anybody's name. But yeah, it's like you can not be a celebrity anymore, but you have to actually do it, not just say it. It's like the Michael Scott, I declare bankruptcy.
Yeah, he wants the title to go away, but nothing else to actually change.
Basically, he just doesn't want to be considered a celebrity.
I mean, not to bring it back to another segment we just did, but I think the one way you could potentially remove your celebrity status is if you go on Celebrity Big Brother.
That's true.
Because nobody on that show is considered a celebrity.
That's true. That's like when it's over.
That's when it's over. So
yeah,
that's maybe one idea for him.
But like, you're one of the most famous basketball players ever.
Mm-hmm.
People know you by your nickname of your first name. you're a huge behemoth of a man.
Yeah, size like 26 foot or whatever.
Yeah, like even if he wasn't famous, him just walking down the street, people are going to notice you. Like, sorry. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It's just that's the way it is.
So
you're still on TV.
So he's saying that the celebrities today are insane.
Yeah.
Is he talking about anybody specifically?
He does not call out anybody.
Because that's casting a pretty wide net there. I mean, you know.
It is. But he's talking about, he's like, oh, I don't have an entourage. You know, it's like, I try to be nice to people. And like, you know, maybe, I'm sure he is. I'll believe him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, you're either nice or you're the A word. And I definitely won't be looked at as the A word. He's like, he didn't have an entourage. His people didn't take my phone away because I took a picture and threw it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. But you're a celebrity, sorry.
Yeah. There's really not much he can do.
No. I just think it's funny where he's just like, nope, I'm not anymore. Okay. Good luck.
If it makes himself feel better, I guess go ahead and believe that.
Yeah, sure. But it's like, you're still on TV. You still do, do the basketball games. Like,
yeah, because it sounds like he's upset with the culture surrounding celebrities, but he doesn't want to remove himself from that culture.
Right.
So it's confusing what he actually wants.
Yeah, he's saying like, oh, I'm not part of that. But it's like, okay, well, maybe you're not acting like a lot of other celebrities, but it's like you're still very famous.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I don't know.
In fact, I might go out and buy a Shaquille O'Neal jersey.
Yeah.
Just to reinforce his celebrity.
What was that stupid Shia LaBeouf thing where he went on the wet red carpet and he wore that paper bag?
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I don't know the point of that. Yeah, that was during his like performance art phase, right?
Yeah. Was that before or after he started abusing? Oh yeah, the paper bag said, "I am not famous anymore."
Right. I believe that was before the accounts that the accounts of abuse that have come out since then.
Yeah. But it's like, yeah, Shaq could do that.
Just wear
put
a paper bag
on his head.
Yeah.
Do we just want to hit this Phoebe Bridgers?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Phoebe Bridgers, one of the biggest artists in music right now, is getting sued. Technically for defamation.
Mm-hmm.
So, she's being sued for $3.8 million by producer Chris Nelson, allegedly for, quote, false and misleading statements about him online. This Nelson fellow is seeking damages for alleged defamation, false light, intentional affliction of emotional distress, and intentional interference with prospective economic relations. So they never worked together, but starting in 2018, Nelson and his girlfriend started hooking up with Phoebe Bridgers, and then Nelson and his girlfriend Emily Bannon broke up in 2019, and then Emily Bannon and Phoebe Bridgers continued to hook up.
So it's very easy to see the real motivation behind this lawsuit.
Clearly. He's clearly suing Phoebe Bridgers because she stole his girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. And last weekend, I was going to make a joke because last weekend was, I forget what day it was, but it was Bi Awareness Day. It's like, this would have been a good story for Bi Awareness Day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's essentially what's going on here.
The only thing that he's alleging really is that Bridgers made, quote, false and misleading statements about him on her public Instagram, including that she, quote, witnessed and can personally verify much of the abuse, and then in parentheses it says grooming, stealing, violence perpetrated by Chris Nelson. And then he's saying that she allegedly directed her followers to Bannon's Instagram account. And then where people accused him of racially motivated hate crimes, such as beating a young Latinx man to death. But it's like, unless she explicitly told people to go to the Instagram account, no, she didn't.
Right.
That's just her fans doing that.
Yeah, that's just people. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But there are other. This is not this guy's first lawsuit.
No, he has, I believe, at least 2 other suits currently going on.
Yeah.
He's currently also suing musician and former SNL actor Noel Wells.
Yes.
Because he worked with her on her 2019 album called It's So Nice. He's also, it's like the same suit. It's for alleged defamation, false light, intentional affliction of emotional distress, intentional interference with prospective economic relations, and negligent interference with prospective economic relations. And then he's got another one against the same ex-girlfriend, Emily Bannon, accusing her of assault and battery. So he's just suing everyone that he can get his hands on, basically.
Yeah.
But the suit against Phoebe Bridgers, it really seems like a load of horse shit.
Well, all three of them do. All three of them do.
Well, all 3 of them do, but like, yeah, it really seems like he's suing as petty revenge because she stole his girlfriend.
Yes.
Like,
yes. It's very transparent. It's very funny, honestly.
It really is. It really is.
It's like, why would you? Because like, I didn't know who this guy was before this week.
I don't think anybody did.
Yeah, so this is like just like self-inflicted embarrassment for this guy. Like, he did not need to have his name out there like this. For this reason.
You should just be counting your lucky fucking stars. You got to have threesomes with Phoebe Bridgers. Like,
there you go. Yeah.
Like, come on.
And honestly, like, the shit that's been said that he's done is really bad. So,
right,
like, this could easily like turn around on him now, and he could be in some shit. So this was like a really ridiculous move. If these
women have any tiny form of receipts, especially if Phoebe has stuff about what she said about, grooming and abuse, not only will the suits be thrown out immediately, he's probably got shit going his way.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and you're going to tell me that Phoebe Bridgers doesn't have incredible lawyers now?
Right. Yep.
Come on, man. Come on. You're done.
Yep. But speaking of Phoebe Bridgers, just a little while ago, she announced that she's releasing a cover of That Funny Feeling by Bo Burnham that she's been playing on tour this fall.
I saw that, yeah.
And so all of the proceeds from that single are going to the Texas Abortion Fund, which is really cool.
Yes, yes. Very good to see.
Yeah.
I was listening to some of the covers from, that like big Metallica comp of like all the covers from like indie artists basically.
Yeah. Aren't there like 10 different versions of Enter Sandman or something?
There's like 10 different versions of what's the one that, because that's the one that Phoebe did, and then I think it's also the same one Diet Sig did. Was it The Unforgiven, I think?
Oh, okay.
Because Cherry Glazer's on that too. Theirs is pretty good.
Yeah, see, like that is, I haven't listened to this. It's so many artists that I love, but I'm also just completely burned out on Metallica.
Oh,
from
yeah.
all of my high school years.
Yeah, I don't like Metallica really.
Yeah.
Oh, It's Nothing Else Matters.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, they got Oh yeah, Deitzig did The Unforgiven. Pup is here. Oh my God, Volbeat, really?
Oh, that makes all the sense in the world.
I know, but like then there's a lot of this stuff. There's like Cherry Glazer, Idols.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's like 10 versions of Nothing Else Matters.
It's like, I mean, it's on the one hand, like, yeah, the artist should do the song that they want to do, but like, Metallica has such a big catalog. Don't you think they could have like, you know, made it a little more varied?
There's 5 versions of My Friend of Misery.
Oh.
There's like 6 versions of The Unforgiven. There's like 5 versions of Holier Than Thou.
So it's really it's not a collection you can just run through, you know.
No,
front
not
to back.
at all. It's just like 6 different songs, and then there's like 6 versions of Enter Sandman.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be listening to the Enter Sandman by Weezer. I'll tell you that much.
Oh boy.
Because Weezer is just a fucking cover band at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are some good bands here. So
yeah, it's a good lineup. Do we want to quickly I have just 2 very quick pieces of movie news.
Yeah.
And then we can get out of here.
Sure.
But I wanted to briefly bring up the story from New York Film Festival this week. The protests that took place. I don't know if you saw this. This was like all over Twitter for me. But some Catholic protesters were outside of the premiere of Benedetta, the latest movie from Paul Verhoeven, which is a scandalous lesbian nun drama. Let me send you the link so you can see the photo here of these dudes that look like they stepped, like the very first photo on there, they look like they stepped right out of the 1930s.
Why the endless insults to Jesus?
Yes.
It's not very catchy.
No, it doesn't really roll off the tongue very well.
Like Stop the Blasphemy Now is pretty good.
Sure. And then there's a larger sign they have here. It says, "We vehemently protest the blasphemous lesbian movie Benedetta that insults the sanctity of Catholic nuns."
Yeah, that's...
Now, I don't know about you, but like, this makes me want to see the film. So this really backfired, I think, for these guys, because this is like good marketing. That just makes it sound like a cool movie. Like I
was actually hoping it would be nuns protesting.
Well, no, because nuns probably have better sense than these whatever you want to call them.
I do like the young Republicans that are holding up the big sign.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Yeah. So
why I like how it's in 3 colors too. Why the endless insults to Jesus?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus wasn't a nun.
Well, no, but I guess yeah. That's true, isn't it?
Why are you insulting Jesus this way? Actually, I think the whole thing is that nuns are like married to Jesus is the reasoning.
This is infidelity,
which is all kinds of weird when you think about it for 0.2 seconds.
So the director and I believe the cast were not at this premiere for this particular festival, but I do know the screenwriter for this film was in attendance, and I'm pretty sure he got a kick out of this.
Oh, I bet.
But yeah, that's it's Benedetta coming out soon.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. I mean, hey, this director is known to be a bit of a provocateur, right? So he's getting that here from about like a dozen people. It's not much, but
why the endless insults to Jesus?
Yeah, we're just wondering. We just want some answers. We want explanations.
It'd be great if they actually wanted to
have like an actual dialogue, right?
yeah.
So we just came from the screening and we had a few questions. We didn't get a chance to speak at the Q&A,
Yeah. Number one, why the endless insults to Jesus?
Yeah. But yeah, the other big piece of I wouldn't say that was a big piece of movie news. That was more just, you know, but the actual big piece of movie news this week was there's a trailer out for the new Paul Thomas Anderson. Have you seen this? Yeah, it's called Licorice Pizza, and it's coming out in late November. It is a coming of age story set in the San Fernando Valley of California in the 1970s. So he's going back to that Boogie Nights time period, which I watched Boogie Nights for the first time last year. So brilliant. It's this tragic comedy about adult film actors that is just, it's so good. Like everything he makes, it's so good. Yeah. But what I thought was what jumped out at me immediately was the cast in this movie. So like you have like the supporting cast is kind of the usual suspects. You have like Bradley Cooper, you have Sean Penn, you have Maya Rudolph, Benny Safdie. But the two leads, so we have Cooper Hoffman, the son of Philip Seymour Hoffman. And then we have Alana, I'm going to mispronounce. It's a running thing with the band name too, but it's Hyam. I think I'm pronouncing correctly. It's Alana Hyam from the band Hyam.
Okay.
I believe this is her first screen performance. Yeah, PTA. He's known the band for a long time. He's directed a handful of their music videos. And so now she is starring in his next film, which is very exciting. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Hyam, even though I'm uncertain about if I'm getting the pronouncement correctly.
I would not know, but
yeah, coming of age, that's my favorite genre of movie. So, and Paul Thomas Anderson never misses. So this is definitely something to look forward to. Quite a year for Hyam too. Like last year they had their third album, which I think is their best album. And then they performed at the Grammys. And now their bass player is starring in the new PTA. So it's good stuff going on.
Yeah.
So yeah. Just wanted to mention that. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. I think that's probably going to do it for us. You can follow me everywhere at DeadEndRoad, Facebook.com/DeadEndRoadTV. Check out the Twitch, twitch.tv/DeadEndRoadTV, and do a YouTube search for DeadEndRoad TV. Get us to 100 subscribers so I don't have to say the whole thing the whole time. And as always, you can email us literally anything at video@deadendroad.co. And just another note, pre-orders for the Fred the Koala plushies are now live with hardcover bundles of Fred's First Adventure. You can check out the Dead End Road publishing store because I just revamped that. It looks quite nice and it's a lot easier to navigate. So check that out at publishing.deadendroad.co. They make great gifts because the holidays are quickly approaching. Yeah, I think that's everything I have to promote.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's it. As always, we really appreciate you listening. I guess we'll see you next one.